Welcome back, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Today we are diving deep into the world of Lincoln cents and focusing on one coin that has surprised many collectors with its hidden potential. I am talking about the 1993 Lincoln Memorial 1-cent coin. At first glance it may look like just another common penny in your change jar, but certain examples can actually be worth far more than just a single cent. Let's start with a little background. The 1993 D penny was minted at the Denver Mint, marked by the letter D under the date. In 1993 the United States Mint produced over 6 billion of these coins. With that kind of mintage, most examples are still only worth face value. However, as with many coins, the real value comes from condition, grade, and era varieties. For the majority of circulated coins you will still find them trading hands for just 1 cent. If the coin has heavy wear, scratches, or corrosion, it is not going to be worth more than its face value. But collectors always seek high-quality examples. In mint state condition, especially coins graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, the value can rise dramatically. Let us talk about condition. If you happen to find a 1993 D penny in mint state 65, meaning it has full luster and very few marks, the coin can sell for anywhere between $5 and $15 depending on demand. Move up to mint state 67, and the price can climb much higher. In fact, high-grade examples have been known to reach prices over $100 at auction. Now let's talk about the real money makers, the error coins. This is where the story gets exciting. Some 1993 D pennies have been discovered with double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and other striking errors. These errors are rare, and collectors will pay serious premiums for them. For example, a dramatic off-center strike where part of the design is missing could sell for $50 to $200 depending on how dramatic the error is. A double die error showing doubling in the lettering or in the date could also command hundreds of dollars if the doubling is clear and strong. One of the most famous varieties in this series is the close AM versus wide AM reverse. While the 1993 D penny is normally a close AM type, collectors check every coin carefully because if you were to find a wide AM in this year it would be extremely rare and highly valuable. Always examine the spacing between the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse of your penny. Another key factor is the color designation. Copper-plated zinc pennies can tone differently. Professional graders use categories like red, red-brown, and brown. Full red examples are much scarcer because the original mint luster has survived. A 1993 D penny graded mint state 67 red can easily fetch hundreds of dollars in the current market. So what is the current market value in 2025? Circulated examples are worth 1 cent. Mint state 65 red examples are averaging between $5 and $15. Mint state 66 red examples are around $30 to $60. And mint state 67 red coins have been reaching auction results in the range of $200 to $500 when certified by a top grading service. Error coins as mentioned can sell from $50 all the way up to several $100 depending on the rarity and appeal of the error. This means that if you are searching through pocket change, coin rolls from the bank, or inherited collections, it pays to keep a sharp eye out for that 1993 D penny. While most are common, the right condition or error variety could be sitting unnoticed in your hands. The best way to tell if your coin has extra value is to first examine it carefully under good lighting. Check the date, the mint mark, the reverse lettering, and the overall strike. Look for doubling in the letters or numbers. Look at the rim to see if the coin was struck off-center. If it looks unusual or if the condition is outstanding, it may be worth submitting to a professional grading service. Collectors love coins that are not only rare but also visually appealing. A bright red penny with strong details and no spots can be far more desirable than one that is dull brown and heavily marked. That is why condition is so important when talking about modern coins like the 1993 D penny. To wrap up, the 1993 D Lincoln Memorial penny is usually a 1-cent coin, but in high grades or with rare errors it can be worth a lot more. Always check your change carefully. A single coin could be hiding real value and you never know what you might discover. So next time you come across a 1993 D penny, don't toss it aside. Put it under the magnifying glass and give it the attention it deserves. You might just find that what looks like an ordinary cent is actually a small treasure worth many dollars. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating pennies in United States coin collecting history. We are talking about the 1960 Lincoln cent, a coin that might look ordinary to the untrained eye but can actually be worth a fortune if you know what to look for. So grab your coins and let's uncover the secrets behind this valuable penny. The year 1960 was an interesting one for the Denver Mint. Millions of pennies were struck, but what makes this year so important is the famous small date and large date varieties. The United States Mint experimented with different size numerals in the date, and collectors quickly noticed the difference. The small date version has a slimmer and more delicate-looking 0 and 6 in the date, while the large date version is thicker and bolder. This tiny difference led to one of the most exciting hunts in the history of Lincoln cents, but the story does not end there. Within the 1960 Denver Mint production run, a remarkable variety appeared that shook the hobby. We are talking about the 1960 D/D repunched mint mark. When mint marks were punched by hand, mistakes sometimes happened. In this case, the Denver Mint Mark D was punched twice in slightly different positions, leaving behind a dramatic and eye-catching error that collectors crave. Now let's talk about values, because this is where things get very exciting. A normal 1960 D penny that you might find in circulation is usually only worth face value if it is worn. In uncirculated condition, a common example can bring anywhere from 50 cents to a few dollars depending on how nice the coin looks. But when you enter the world of varieties, errors, and high grades, the prices skyrocket. Take the 1960 D small date over large date variety. This extremely rare transitional piece has sold at auction for thousands of dollars. In fact, some high-grade examples certified by professional grading companies have reached over $10,000, making this one of the most desirable Lincoln cents in existence. Even more common double dies and repunched mint marks can sell for hundreds or even thousands depending on the sharpness of the error. Collectors are always eager to pay top dollar for dramatic varieties, especially when they are graded mint state by PCGS or NGC. Condition is absolutely critical. A 1960 D penny in well-worn condition might not be worth much, but the same coin in brilliant red uncirculated condition could be a game changer. Coins graded MS65 and higher often bring premium prices. For example, a 1960 D small date penny in MS67 red can easily sell for several $1,000s at auction. The current coin market in 2025 remains strong for Lincoln cents, especially for rare varieties and errors. Collectors continue to chase these pieces, driving prices higher as demand grows. Auction houses like Heritage and Stack's Bowers regularly feature these coins, and bidding wars are not uncommon. The most dramatic examples, such as the small date over large date, remain the crown jewel of the 1960 D series, with values ranging anywhere from $5,000 to over $20,000 depending on condition and IAPL.so. What should you do if you have a 1960 D penny? First, examine the date carefully. Compare the numbers, especially the 6 and 0, to see if you have a small date or large date. Second, check the mint mark under magnification to look for doubling or repunching. Finally, consider having your coin professionally graded if you believe it might be valuable. These little copper coins are treasures hidden in plain sight. Millions of people have 1960 pennies sitting in jars, drawers, or coin albums without realizing that some of them could be worth thousands of dollars. That is the thrill of coin collecting. The possibility that an ordinary-looking penny in your pocket change could be a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. So keep searching and keep learning, because knowledge is the real key to unlocking value in this hobby. The 1960 D penny proves that even the smallest details can make the biggest difference. If you've ever gone through your pocket change or coin jar at home, you might not realize that some of the most valuable treasures are sitting right in front of you. One of the most overlooked yet fascinating examples is the 1998 Lincoln penny, especially the ones without a mint mark. Believe it or not, a single cent from this year could be worth a whole lot more than its face value if you know exactly what to look for. Let's start with the basics. The 1998 Lincoln penny was part of the Memorial Reverse Design series, which was in circulation from 1959 all the way until 2008. On the front, you'll see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, which has been on the cent since 1909. On the back, you'll see the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. It may look like an ordinary coin, but the details and condition are what can transform an ordinary 1-cent piece into something worth hundreds, or even thousands, of dollars. Now, when we talk about mint marks, here's what you need to know. A mint mark is a small letter on a coin that tells you where it was made. For pennies, you'll either see a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But if your 1998 penny has no mint mark at all, that means it was made at the Philadelphia Mint. And while the Philadelphia Mint produced millions of these coins, collectors specifically hunt for rare varieties, errors, and high-grade examples. So why are some of these 1998 pennies worth so much money? It comes down to rarity, errors, and condition. First, let's talk about condition. Most pennies you'll find in circulation have scratches, wear, and fading details. But if you happen to have one that's in pristine, almost perfect condition, what collectors call mint state or even gem uncirculated, then the value skyrockets. In fact, according to recent auction results, a 1998 penny with no mint mark graded at the highest levels by professional grading services has sold for well over $5,000. Yes, that's right. A coin you might overlook as pocket change can turn into thousands of dollars if it's the right example, but that's not all. There are also specific error varieties that make these coins worth more. One of the most famous is the 1998 wide AM variety. On the back of the coin, look closely at the letters A and M in the word America. On most 1998 pennies, the A and the M are very close together. But on the rare wide AM variety, the letters are clearly spaced apart. If you find a 1998 penny with the wide AM design and it's in good condition, you could be holding onto a coin worth anywhere from $200 all the way up to thousands, depending on grade. Another thing collectors look for are striking errors. Sometimes coins come off the presses with double strikes, off-center strikes, or even die cracks. Each of these errors can make a 1998 penny unique and valuable, because collectors love one-of-a-kind pieces. Even small errors can raise the value from a few dollars to hundreds of dollars. Now let's talk about the current market value. The demand for rare pennies, especially Lincoln cents, has been growing steadily. Right now, a typical 1998 penny with no mint mark in circulated condition is worth just 1 cent. But if you find one in high uncirculated grades, you could be looking at anywhere between $10 and $50. If it's the wide AM variety in mint condition, expect values starting around $250 and climbing into the thousands. And if you've got one graded as mint state 67 or higher, that's where you see auction results breaking into the $5,000 range. Collectors are always hunting for these coins, and the market is strong because Lincoln cents are one of the most popular series in all of US coin collecting. That means if you have a 1998 no mint mark penny sitting in your collection or even in your loose change, you might want to take a closer look. So here's the takeaway. Don't just pass over pennies because they seem ordinary. The 1998 no mint mark penny is a perfect example of how small details and rarity can turn pocket change into serious cash. Always check the condition, look for those error varieties, especially the wide AM reverse, and consider getting your coin graded if it looks like it's in top shape. You never know, you could be holding a coin that collectors are willing to pay big money for, and remember, coin collecting isn't just about the money. It's about the history, the details, and the thrill of discovering something rare where you least expect it. Every coin tells a story, and sometimes that story can lead to a big reward. So the next time you get a penny in your change, especially a 1998 with no mint mark, take a closer look. It could be the most valuable cent you'll ever hold. Today we are going to talk about one of the most fascinating coins in modern American numismatics. I am talking about the 1982 D Lincoln penny, a coin that at first glance looks ordinary and spends for just 1 cent. But collectors know better. This is the year when the United States Mint made a major change in the composition of the penny. And because of this change, 1982 is filled with varieties, errors, and a lot of surprises that can make your pocket change worth real money. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the story of the 1982 D penny, why it can be worth a lot of money, and what the current market values are today. In 1982 the Mint switched from making cents out of mostly copper to making them out of zinc with a thin copper coating. Before this change pennies were 95% copper. That means every coin had a weight of 3.11 grams. After the switch pennies were made of 97.5% zinc with just 2.5% copper plating and they weighed only 2.5 grams. This change may sound small, but for coin collectors it opened the door to one of the most interesting years in penny history. Here's where it gets interesting. Because the switch happened during the year, the Mint ended up producing both copper pennies and zinc pennies in 1982. On top of that, they also used 2 different styles of the number 2 in the date. One style is known as the small date and the other is called the large date. Combine copper and zinc compositions with large date and small date styles and you get a total of 7 different varieties for the 1982 penny. Now when we add the Denver Mint mark, the 1982D penny, things get even more exciting. Most 1982D pennies are common and can be found in circulation, but some are worth serious money. The most famous and most valuable variety is the 1982D small date copper penny. This is the coin that collectors dream about. It is one of the rarest modern circulation coins and has sold for tens of thousands of dollars at auction. How rare is it? To give you an idea, millions of 1982D pennies were made in zinc and large date copper, but only a handful of confirmed small date copper coins are known to exist. That is why collectors pay such big money when one shows up. Back in 2016, one example graded by PCGS in Mint State 64 red sold for over $18,000 at auction. Higher grade examples could easily push over $20,000 or more in today's market. So how can you tell if you have a 1982D small date copper penny? The first step is to check the weight. A copper cent weighs 3.11 grams while a zinc cent weighs 2.5 grams. If your coin has the small date design and weighs 3.11 grams, congratulations, you may have a treasure. The small date has a more delicate looking too, with the top curve of the 8 sitting higher and the overall numbers appearing slimmer compared to the large date. It takes some practice, but once you know what to look for, you can quickly identify the difference. Even if you do not have the rare copper small date, many 1982 pennies are still collected and some can be worth a few dollars in higher uncirculated grades. For example, a 1982D large date copper penny in Mint State 67 red has sold for around $200. A 1982D zinc large date in superb gem condition can bring in $50 to $100. Collectors value high-grade examples because most coins from circulation show heavy wear and spots, so finding pristine pieces is much harder than it sounds. As for the current market value, let's break it down. Circulated 1982D pennies are generally worth only face value unless they are the rare small date copper variety. If you have a confirmed small date copper example, even in worn condition, it could be worth thousands. Mint State examples have recently sold in the range of $15,000 to $20,000 depending on grade and color designation. The more red and lustrous the coin, the higher the price. Large date copper and zinc coins are common, but in the highest grades certified by PCGS or NGC they can bring between $50 and $200. So while not every 1982D penny will make you rich, the possibility of finding that one rare variety keeps collectors searching. So here's the takeaway. Always check your 1982D pennies. Weigh them, study the date style, and if you think you have the rare copper small date, get it authenticated by a professional grading service. It could turn a single cent into a life-changing amount of money. That's going to do it for today's video. If you enjoyed learning about the 1982D penny and its incredible varieties, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with other coin collectors. Who knows, maybe one of you watching right now has that rare penny sitting in a jar at home. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.